Yeah, so it seems to me like a good place to start, Simon, and a lot of our customers are going to be thinking this, is what are the benefits behind getting a subscription, apart from just staying compliant? But, what sort of tools, what are the advantages of taking out a license and subscription now?
Sure. Well, I mean, you obviously get the patching. A great example is, for instance, the last public update of Java 8 is Java 8 201. 202 is already out. So
Right.
with the license, you've got access to the patching and all the patching that comes out, not just the quarterlies, but the interim patches for bug fixes and high-level security issues. So that's one benefit. However, what I'm thinking you're aiming for there is talking about some of the features that were commercial and therefore needed a license in the first place.
Right, yeah.
Let's talk about those. I think one of the most important ones is, or one of the most used ones, are the combination of Java Mission Control and Java Flight Recorder.
Yeah.
So these are applications, well, they're components that are aimed at the development community. So using these together, you can record what the machine is doing, what the server is doing, and the Java engine is doing while an application is running.
Sure.
And then use that to tune things like garbage collection. Garbage collection is actually one of those things that causes most jitter in Java applications. Yeah. And having the garbage collected at intervals can make an application look like it's stopped for a period of time.
Right.
So tuning that is vital, and these are tools that can help you do that.
Right. Okay.
The other tool that is worth mentioning is Java Advanced Management Console. Java Advanced Management Console is really a suite of tools.
Yeah.
So it includes things like Java Updater, Java Usage Tracker, as well as the console itself.
Yeah.
Java Usage Tracker is an interesting tool, which we've talked about a lot. A lot of people have asked about how much Java they use.
Sure.
Is there a tool? Java Usage Tracker is that tool, but unfortunately you don't get it without a license. So it's kind of a chicken and egg thing.
Yeah.
However, once that is deployed with Java Updater and with the Advanced Management Console, you get a single view of your estate. You can program it up so each application is understood, and it's understood which update it uses.
Right
and
down to that.
Right up
level
down
of
to that
detail.
level.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you can roll out an update for just one application. So your main ERP application has been updated from an older update to the Absolute 201, for instance.
Yeah. Yeah.
But other of your applications need to be on older versions. You can roll out 201 for just your ERP system using the Advanced Management Console, and that's all done from a single place.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like an incredibly useful and, would you say, underused?
Heavily underused. It's
Yeah.
obviously it was a tool that was written by Sun and then Oracle have
Yeah.
built on it to manage internal deployments of Java.
Sure.
So it's a very good and robust tool. It's just not used in the community that much.
Okay, so the tools we're talking about have always required a license?
Yeah. Most of the tools we discussed there were available from update 20 of Java 8.
Okay.
But they were commercial tools and only available if you had a license. So whilst they're packaged and shipped with the JDK, so they're easily downloaded,
Yeah.
you aren't actually allowed to run them without a license. So if you were running them, and a lot of people do, you are non-compliant without a license.
But some of them have become open source as at version 11?
Sort of.
Okay,
So,
explain.
yeah. So basically Java Flight Recorder and Java Mission Control became open source it was actually Java 10. Not that anyone cares about Java 6, we've moved on, but as of Java 11, so if you're running OpenJDK 11 today, you can use Java Mission Control and Java Flight Recorder for free.
Mm-hmm.
But that's purely with OpenJDK 11. What you can't do is still use them for free with Java 8, because they were commercial tools in Java 8, so if you're running them with 8, you still need a license today.
Yeah. Simon, it strikes me that there's potential here for people to be using these tools unwittingly. I mean, I can think of situations where projects have moved on, members of staff have moved on, and these tools are in use without people genuinely, aware of the situation.
A lot of the time, yeah. I mean, I've seen a number of customers who are using them had no idea that they were licensable products. They were part of the JDK. They're bundled in there.
Yeah.
It's obviously part of the license agreement. So when you look, the license agreement discusses the fact that you're not allowed to use the commercial option of the commercial tools without a license. But then they're not listed in the agreement. There's a link to show you what the commercial things are, and unless you follow that link. So a lot of people haven't gone to that level of depth and haven't noticed that those tools, which are shipped, were actually stuff that you need to pay for.
Yeah. Okay, well that brings me on to the steps that our customers can take to kind of bring this situation under control. Obviously the easiest thing to do is to go for a subscription and to put things above board, and we can look at some of the other advantages of that in a moment. But what steps can be taken to kind of get a grip on Java deployments? Thinking of lockdowns and policies.
Okay, so I mean it really depends on what you're trying to achieve.
Right, okay.
So if you're looking at an organisation that is running Java 8 on the desktop, for instance, that Java 8 is supporting possibly some third-party applications as well as something they develop in-house. You have a number of options, and it kind of depends on what your ISVs are doing as well as what you're doing.
Right.
The obvious thing you can do is install Java 201. Oracle are hinting that it's going to be available till April. So
as long as of this year.
So as long as you get in there before that has gone away from the website, you can use 201, and that has got the latest bug fixes. Obviously the next quarterly update is on the 15th of April. So definitely on the 15th of April that will no longer be available for commercial use. But up until then,
you've got a window
to
sort things out.
But yeah, you can lock down the desktop with 201 and never do another update. Which is absolutely fine, and at that point you won't need a license as long as you're standing there.
But you can't move forward. You
can't. You won't get any more security patches. So there's a question mark around compliance if you're regulated under PCI or PSN if you're public sector, of course GDPR, which I think everyone's
fed up with
now,
but it's very real.
But if you're under a regulation, then not patching may not be something that you can get away with. So that's definitely worth thinking about as a business in terms of risk. But if you can stop there. In terms of a compliance risk from an Oracle perspective, that's fine. But you do need to be aware that Oracle have allowed updates after 201 to be downloaded for personal use.
Right, so there's a distinction here then. So you're okay if your kids at home are using Minecraft or whatever and downloading, but Java updates, but in the office or in a controlled environment, you've got to be looking at some sort of lockdown policy.
And in fact it takes it to the next level. It actually lists the fact that if it's being used on a commercial workstation or laptop, then you'd be non-compliant. It actually states that in one of Oracle's documents.
Right.
So if your kids are playing Minecraft on a work laptop, you're non-compliant.
You're non-compliant. Okay, so we've covered lockdown on the desktop, Simon, but what about server side? What would your advice be there?
Well, to be honest, server side is far easier, isn't it? Obviously, server side, it's always managed by IT. So from a server perspective, it's really skilled staff. Now, absolutely, you've still got the chance of someone updating with software that you don't have a license for if you've not bought a license. But it's far less likely because it is an IT professional that's going to be doing it rather than just a laptop user.
Yeah, sure. And then I guess that opens up a whole raft of questions, really, but around what happens if you're buying in applications. It's not so much about preventing updates, but in some cases you may have to update. I mean, I'm thinking of people using some of the developer tools that rely on Java. That poses a whole different set of issues, doesn't it?
Yeah, and absolutely, and it's something that you're going to have to discuss with the providers of that software. Some of those providers are going to be updating and repatching. They're going to be bundling JREs together and supplying them, except it will be supplied, well, in the past it was supplied on the understanding that there was no license requirement.
Sure.
Going forward, it will be supplied on the understanding that you're supplying a license.
Yeah.
For some of the larger ERP tools or larger software distributions, it's possible that that organisation is supplying a Java license with the product.
Yeah.
So it's always worth asking to make sure. But obviously you can never actually guarantee that. So
Yeah.
you need to check that out. And the onus under the licensing rules would be on the end user to ensure that they were properly licensed.
Right.
Not for the software provider to license it.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Simon, because that's an important point. But given that some organisations will be using a lot of bought-in software, I mean, that's quite a messy situation. Are you seeing any patterns emerging? Is the industry as a whole forming a view as to how to deal with that?
Yeah, we've talked to a lot of ISVs over the last few months. What you're generally seeing is around 50% of the ISVs are looking to supply some Java, and 50% are expecting the end users to pick up all of it. Out of the 50% that are looking to supply Java, I would say about 90% of those are just looking to supply the server-side licenses and not the desktop licenses. The general view is multiple applications use Java on the desktop, and therefore most organisations will find it more cost effective to license desktop themselves.
Right, okay, thanks for that, Simon.
Thank you for tuning in to this video about the recent changes to the way Java is being licensed and the impact this may have on your business or on you as a developer. For further information or assistance in connection with Java licensing, please contact your account manager here at Grey Matter or call us on 01 364 654 100. Our Code Matter blog for developers also contains up-to-the-minute information about Java licensing.